Hi everyone. Today I want to present a new feature of NBomber Studio called Lua Test in Kubernetes. This feature provides a control plane for managing, deploying, and running your Lua tests. This time I want to focus on Docker project type. So Docker project type is is a best suited for production use cases. The studio deploys a Docker image that contains your NBomber Lua test, and then it will deploy it in Kubernetes, run it, and after test finishes, Studio will clean up and downscale the environment and all necessary dependencies. So let's begin. First, I want to start with the mandatory fields like text name, test suite. Let me fill them. Then I need to specify my Docker container, which which contains the NBomber load test and which we will run in our Kubernetes cluster. So in the documentation that we provide, we have a section about Docker project type, and you will be able to find also additionally the build Docker image section. And here's the example of the code that is used. So basically, I'm referring to this example. It is a super basic NBomber Lua test, which contains only one scenario with name my scenario. And basically, we compiled, built, and published this project and published it in Docker and Docker Hub. And now it is available, so you can find this one by following link here. Here we are. This is our Docker image, which we will use and deploy. So what next? NBomber Studio also support specifying CLI arguments. Here's the list of supported. In the documentation, you can find more details. Right now, I don't want to spend your time in talking about this, so I will skip this part. Then I'll keep it empty. Then we have agents count. If we want to run our tests in a cluster mode, we can set more agents. Let's set 2. Basically, we will run our test on 2 pods. And I think that's the basics, which is enough for you to run your deploy and run your tests in Kubernetes. But additionally, we can specify JSON configuration, which allows us to dynamically inject and override some of the settings of our Lua test without full recompilation. In the documentation, on the documentation website, you will find a section about JSON config with the explanation. I will just copy this example and paste it here. So as you can see, this example contains load simulation settings for scenario name my scenario. This is exactly the scenario name which we use in our load test. As you remember, this is the code and this is the name of this scenario. So it will match, and basically NBomber will apply these settings and override our original settings, which was configured initially. Yeah, so what additionally we can do here? We have also container spec. It supports just a few configuration settings, other resources, limits, node selector. For example, you want to run your container on specific node pool with dedicated nodes for Lua tests with a higher CPU, higher memory, for example. You can uncomment it and specify your own settings here, your own configuration. Additionally, we have this button edit config. It is open the full screen. It's just for convenience to edit the code. You can edit container spec or JSON config. I will close it. That's it. That's pretty it what we can do here. So I will click create. Now my test is created. And now let's click run. So the test is was created, and the job has been started. So right now, Kubernetes and Bomber Studios like started Kubernetes job, which then will like deploy the containers, spin up the dependencies like Nats message broker and so on and so forth. So usually the test should start in like 1 minute from the job creation. As you can see right now, the session ID is unavailable because the load test session has not been started yet. So if we go to runs, oh, we see the test actually just started like 5 seconds ago. So if we go back and open our test, we have the tab jobs. If we click here, we usually will see the list of jobs that finished or running currently. So here's, since the test is new, we have only one job and it is inactive. Status, we see here the environment is ready. So if we open it, we now can see that session IDs appeared. We can open our session. We see the metrics. We see that the load is increasing, and it is working as expected. So now we can just wait on the job. When job will complete it, then the studio will start cleaning the resources which were created during this load test session. Okay, now we can see that the job is completed. We see that environment is also disposed. If we open the session, it's also in completed state. So here's the load which we configured. This is our session in history, 0 active sessions. The load test is visible from this view. And that's it about this feature.